Today's episode was sponsored by a private donation from London, Ontario, Canada. Thank you for your support and keeping this train going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tons of Productions podcast on this Monday, July 8th, 2019. Today, I talk with Janice Yip. Janice is an accountant in the Vancouver film industry, and I met her 15 years ago when I first started working as a production assistant. She taught me a lot back then and knows even more now, so it makes for a great interview. So, here you go. Here is my talk with Janice Yip. You are listening to the Tons of Productions podcast. You, Janice, I really enjoy sitting down with you. It's been years since we've talked.
It's been so many years. I can't remember when's the last time we saw it. Like, I remember we met on Stargate.
Yes. That was when we met, I'd PA'd maybe 5 times.
Holy.
I was totally green.
No.
And you taught me so much. That's what I really wanted to say was when I first started in the PA world and I felt really kind of shy. It was you and Dan Moore.
Oh, yes. Dan.
And Michelle Harris to a degree, but she was busy. She was a key, right? And running around. And so Dan, because I started out in the film industry, sorry to take over the conversation, but I'm just explaining.
Go for it, yeah.
When I first started out in the film industry, basically I was doing films, and at that time you can't sit down. You got to stand for the entire. If you're a PA, you're standing for the entire 16 hours because of film. But TV was a little more lax. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So I went and did 5 films. I did I Love You, Beth Cooper. I did a bunch of different. I can't remember all the names, but it was big films, and I did day here, day there, day call kind of. And when I came there, after a day of standing there all day by the door of the effects stage in the back. Dan comes up to me and looks at me and he's like, "Have you been standing all day?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hold on a sec." And he goes and gets me a chair and says, "Sit down. Why are you standing?" Like, I'm like, "Well, because I'm new and I'm a PA. I'm totally nervous, right?" That's hilarious. And from that I realized, TV's the way to go. Because it's steady work as well. With a movie, you got what, 2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
And then you're done till the next movie, next job. But when you work on, Stargate was my first one that went 10 months.
Yeah.
It was big.
It was, huge. Yeah.
And that was my first real big sets and going into stage where I'm like mesmerized. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The very first one I did was The Watchmen. And it turns out you worked on that too.
Yes. You were an extra though, right? On Watchmen.
I was that was my very first time in film. Mm-hmm. And I had long hair at the time and looked like a 70s guy and fit that profile. And that's what it was great. But yeah, we didn't meet till Stargate. We probably worked on other things together too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way we hadn't crossed paths before then. But I do remember you were like, you were so grateful. That's what I remember thing. You kept coming towards me and Lori. And like you said, Michelle, she's always busy just organizing us and everything. And you're just like, wow, this is like the best show ever, blah, blah, blah. We get to sit down, have lunch, sit and have lunch. Like, how luxurious is that as a PA, right? So it's like, we're here, like it's a studio space. So it's like we try to take care of each other as much as we can because it's hard. As everyone know, being a PA, it's like back then, it's like you got to be working the minute you start on the clock. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because like people, and the better of the PA you are, people will notice you and they give you more credit rather than say, oh, that's the PA that's like, who's that PA at the circus? I don't know. He's always on the phone or like he's never wearing a vest.
Paying attention, yeah.
Paying attention or anything, right? Like especially like a third AD or something, like, when they say, hey, is someone like, is number 1 coming to the set? And like say the third AD somehow gotten caught with either another actor who's demanding for other things and he gets caught and then you're just like, oh yeah, I just saw number 1 go in. And you go up to the third AD and say, hey, he just stepped to set. And the guy, they would really appreciate it because
you help each other. Yeah.
Exactly. There's no reason why we're not helping each other.
Yeah.
We're there for the same reason. Just get the day done.
And that was some advice that I learned from you when you showed me how to do on set. You actually, I don't know if you said anything to Michelle, but I was kind of under your wing when I first started, and you said, "Okay, I'll show you how to do on set kind of thing," and then you left me to be on set key kind of thing while just running the set, and I'm like nervous and freaked out, but I'm like, okay, and I'm on it. Oh my god, I was so on it, like more than you need to be.
Yeah, and it's so great because like that's the beauty of why we do our work or whatever, like to go into this industry. It's because we don't want to be sitting in a desk and just typing on whatever it is. It's like we work on set is because that's the beauty of it. It's to see these incredible sets. Like you said, you walk into the effects stage on Bridge Studio and you just walk in, you're just like, holy crap, they built that on foam, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
And they filmed, what was the movie? They filmed, the Blade movie there, and then they used part of the set for the Stargate because it was already built and shit.
Yeah.
And like how many times people take other sets and just mold it to fit their own thing.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's so wild.
Yeah. Like how many times have they used that Watchmen set that's standing? I mean,
The back lot.
back lot. Yeah. It's been turned around so many times.
Yeah. When I worked on Supernatural and Arrow, we filmed there multiple times. And I'm sure every show, Flash, every Vancouver show probably films there because it looks like streets. And that's what blew me away. When I first walked in, I'm like, this is a replication of a street. It looks real.
Yeah, totally.
Street lights and signs and whatever.
Yeah.
It's wild. And that was my first real looking into the film industry. But enough of me. Where were you born? Where did you start? Where did the story of Janice Yip start?
Oh, okay. Well, I was born and raised in Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, okay.
It's on the west side of the island. And then so I was there to university, and then I went to U of T. And then I graduated with English literature, but then I realized you can't do anything with that degree. So I went. I took what is it? The teaching English as a second language certificates.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got that, and then I went to Japan. Now during this whole time, I've always had passion towards the film and the theater and acting and stuff, because that's what I did throughout my high school. Was I just enjoyed doing
drama?
Plays. Drama, love that stuff, right? And then but growing up in my family, typical Asian family, we always like say, no, that's just a dream. It's not reality. You can't.
You have to be a doctor or a lawyer or something where you make a lot of money.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Don't be creative.
There's no money in that, right?
Yeah.
And then so I went to Japan, and it was funny because like during that time I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a beautiful country, and I learned so much from there. But when I was going through the magazines, and somehow I just stumbled upon this article like say, come to New York City and learn how to do film.
Wow.
And then that was just when it just clicked to my head, and I said, this is what I want to do, right?
Good for you.
And so I gave them like a 2 months notice, just because that way they can find someone to replace me. And then I went back home and then start looking for a film school to go to. Realized I cannot afford anything in the States, but I found Vancouver Film School. And
you went to VFS? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're an alum there too. I have so many people on my show that are alums from there.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd say over half, probably.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So like, yeah. And then I would say VFS is a good school, but I have to say that the money I paid for it wasn't for like you. If you really want to learn about film, filmmaking and stuff, just go out and PA or go out and do your own stuff. Go find someone who knows how to do film and just work with them, because it's at the school, it's great, but it's not the same, right?
Yeah, it's not on-set experience that you'd get from an actual set.
Exactly, yeah. And then, but the most important thing I did get away from that school is the connections. And I have to say, the people I met there have been greatly supportive. Like everybody, like they just, because of that school, that's how I got into this industry.
Yeah, you when you came out of it, then you started. What was your very first thing?
The very first thing I did was, I believe, was Night of Museum, the first one.
Okay.
And I think also around that time, it could have been a TV show called Almost Heaven, but I can't remember. But,
I'm looking at your thing right now, your IMDb.
Oh, yeah, it sucks.
You have a short from 2005, but that might be school related, right?
Probably, yeah.
And then 2006, Night at the Museum.
Yeah,
so there you go. That was your first real and production assistant. So what did you do when you went into that? Were you at Mammoth?
Yeah, Mammoth Studio. Yeah.
And it was mostly studio, right?
Oh yeah, complete all studio.
All studio. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure I can say this on live, but let's just say we came in as a fresh locations team.
Okay.
And so the people I met there, Mike Bishop was.
Michael Bishop. Okay.
Michael Bishop was the key PA. And there's a few other people there who now have moved on, as become either editorial. One actually became a flight attendant now. She works for Air Canada, I believe. And but anyways, met really great people there, and it was just so funny because as we were talking about PAs, like I just remember we were basically like, say, you cannot be effing around, like you got to be on your top notch,
paying attention on the stuff.
Yeah, they say if you are bored and you can't find anything to do, pick up a butt sweep.
Right.
And just sweep. It doesn't matter if you swept the same place 100 times or whatever it is. Just look busy. Just keep yourself busy. Pay attention. If like if you're butt sweeping, you're bored out of your mind. But listen to your radio when they say, first team's on set. Just make your way to the lockup. Make sure everything's like. Let people know around you, like say, okay, first team's on set, like yell it out so that people know, like, they're getting ready. They're going to start, especially people who are in construction or whoever's doing heavy duty work, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want, like, they don't want to be like, say, okay, cut, okay, we're rolling. And then suddenly now they got this big saws or lifts up in the air and stuff like that. And suddenly they have to shut down right away. It's like, it's unfair for them,
Right.
So, like, you got to think about the people who are also trying to do their job, because without them we can't film.
So is this what you were told by ALM, like when you started? Like how did you come to this conclusion? Someone told you this?
Oh, it was just like the feel of the people. Yeah, just like people around and like the team itself, like say, like, just be on top of it and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like I just assess what's going on, and you kind of do, like, some things work and some things doesn't work.
Well, I just want people to know that aren't in film, that the reason for that isn't because they are mean and they want to make sure that people are, working hard or whatever. It's more about budgets, because really when it comes down to it, the LM has a certain budget and has a certain amount of money. And if a producer sees someone walking around bored or talking on their phone, they're going to go, why are we paying this guy? Get him off the set, or her, or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
That's the reason. It's not about, and it's also a movie. This is the time when movies where you don't sit down, you're on the.
Yeah. Especially when you're working with such a, an A-list crew. Like, these are not like your independent. These are actors. Like, they're celebrities.
Robin Williams is there.
Yeah. It's like Robin Williams is there, Ben Stiller.
Oh yeah, the star, obviously.
Yeah, the star, and it's like Amy Adams. Eventually, she came on the second season.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was there.
Yeah.
I think you got me that job.
Oh really? Oh.
It's so funny.
I know.
You got me so many jobs over the years. RoboCop, part 2 on Night at Museum.
Yeah.
And what else? I don't know if you had something to do with Supernatural. But I walked right in, and Laurie, she was the one.
Yeah.
That's
Laurie.
Yeah, I love Laurie.
Yeah.
She, there's a whole story there. When I first met her, I think she was just volunteering PAing, and then I tried to get her on, and then when people left Stargate, I said, oh, well, why don't you come work here? Her and Marion.
No way.
And that's how they got on Stargate.
Wow.
I introduced them to Michelle, and then Michelle talked to I think was it Jeff?
Yeah. Jeff Dodd.
Jeff Dodd, I think.
Yeah.
And they were hired, and then they loved it. They went on full on, and ever since then, Laurie has always hired me if she could. She did a lot of hiring.
Yeah.
She was in the TAD position and did the hiring. And Arrow was another one. I called her and said, I need work. Is there any way? She's like, be on set in an hour? I meant tomorrow or next Monday. What? Yes, okay. I'll get my gear and go. Anyway.
Oh my God.
That was wild because it's like a family. Like, as far as I consider you like a family member, film family member, where we cross paths so many times, then we don't see each other for 3 years. And the next thing you know, oh, you want to come work on this show? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely could say, definitely it's a family out there. Because honestly, like, the new generation that's coming in to PA or, whatever, they all ask me, like, I was like, say, look, your resume is great. I mean, like, honestly, you can write whatever you want. I mean, you should. You should have a good resume. But honestly, when you get hired, it's through people. Mm-hmm. The word of mouth. So the better networking, the better worker you are, the more jobs you get. But the more time you spend not doing your job, then...
Well, Michael Bishop was my last interview, actually.
Oh, no way.
And that was the thing. He said, mean people who don't get that and aren't harsh with the people around them. Everyone works together and everyone helps out. If you don't learn that, you'll be weeded out. Yeah. If you're difficult to work with, people don't want to work with you. Hey, it's me and Janice and someone else that I love, and then this guy comes in and starts being a jerk and making us look bad too.
Yeah.
Because he's on our team. We're all working together. Yeah. I don't represent just me. I represent the whole team behind me. Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, oh, well, that's Janice Yip's guy.
Yeah. Totally. And then suddenly,
she hired him.
Yeah. And suddenly now your name is now like dragged through the mud, and you just like hung your head on shame and like, oh my God.
I thought he was good. That's awesome. But that's good to know. To me, it's refreshing because in that industry, there's no seniority. There must have been before we started.
Yes, I would agree. For sure.
Because the stories I hear that transport used to have to set up tents too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some of the old transport guys I talked to said they had to set up the lunch tent and the background holding tent and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And they would have to show up before the PAs.
Oh, my God.
Which is what? Jori? The amount of hours of transport, I can't even imagine.
Seriously, right? Yeah, to drive the trucks and then set up all. It's a lot of work. But
but anyway. Yeah. So back to Night Museum. So you're in Mammoth, and so you're realizing that I got to be on it. And you're doing all the stuff, and this set you up for future jobs in the film industry. Because if you have that attitude, you will get more jobs, and people will start going, "Oh, you stole her before I could get her."
Yeah. Well, it's how do you say it's. I think in any job is like that. When you put your heart into your work and that you enjoy what you do, people would see that, and people will want to be surrounded by people who are like that, right? Who are passionate in what they do. So it's
and have their back. They don't worry about Janice is there. She'll take care of it.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I don't have to worry.
Yeah, and that's like It feels good, right? Like to be part of that team when people can say, oh, yeah, I could totally rely on Mike. Don't worry, he got it, right?
Yeah. If that door needs to be locked and you're not there, he'll take care of it. He's there.
Yeah. Or like, those days when we do like those crazy, like say 5 location one day.
Oh, yeah, move,
right? And then like, rushing, moving. Okay, we're packing trucks, go. And there's always one PA who has to stay behind to make sure all the plywoods got picked up.
Dummy check.
Yeah, the dummy check. All the things being done, right? And do you want to give that to someone who, like, when you ask them, say, where's Crafty? They're like, I don't know, right? Or you want to give to someone who's like, say, oh, yeah, I'm on it. I'm totally on it. I'm not just on it. I'm on top of that, upon everything else, right? Like, they just so get it. And just like you said, at the end, it doesn't, at the end, it makes the AOM looks good. It makes the location manager looks good. And those are the people you want to look good because those are the ones who gets the jobs. Those are the ones who gets the phone calls from the PMs or the producers and saying, hey, I got this new movie with Bradley Cooper. Do you want to be part of it? Right? And then you'd be like,
the new Deadpool, the new Godzilla, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever your biggest fantasy would be to work, on. And then like it's like it's like a cycle, right? If you work hard, the AOM looks good. If the AOM looks good, you get really cool shows, the really cool shows that you want to work on, and then it keeps on going, right?
Yeah, and the really cool shows, for people that don't know, have really good food.
Yeah.
Really good people.
Oh, yeah.
The top of the top.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize.
Yeah.
You can't go in there and go, oh, well, my boss is really a jerk or whatever. No.
Yeah.
If they're yelling at you, it's because you're the jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't realize that. They
Yeah.
think they're entitled or they whatever. And it's like, oh, you're not entitled.
Yeah.
In fact, you're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
And brutally honest. How many
Yeah.
times you've been like, oh,
Yeah.
my God, I have to be straight honest with this person.
Yeah.
Sorry, you screwed up and I
Yeah.
can't hire you again.
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not getting this wonderful twice a night food? Or, like you said, because the really cool thing about being on those top A-list movies, there's the magic, right?
Yes.
You get to, like you said, you get the best people you get to work with. It's always a lot of fun, no matter how hard it is, no matter how long the hours are.
Yeah.
And then the biggest bonus, great food, great craft service, and crew gifts.
Crew gifts and amazing rap party.
Yeah.
And you hang out with some real celebrities and stuff, which is wild. But when you work in film, celebrity isn't celebrity. It comes down to a job.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, it's a really good, nice set deck person, and Robin Williams is really good.
Yeah.
And they're a really nice person. So that is what it comes down to. You're a nice person, you're not. It doesn't really matter what your job is.
Yeah. This just comes down to that. So
I had a couple of big actors that you'd think would be snobby or be full of themselves and come sit in the lunch tent or come have lunch with me. I had DJ Qualls when I was doing this. You know who that is for an actor? He's done a bunch of stuff. Anyway, he did an episode, and there was one time he came over and sat down with me, and he ate his lunch and had a smoke, and he's from Road Trip. He's from a whole bunch of movies, but really good guy, and not Hollywood fanatical celebrity kind of guy.
right, yeah,
And you get those.
yeah,
Robert Carlo was like that. He's from
Yeah.
Glasgow, though.
yeah. Dick Van Dyke was like that on Night Museum.
Jason
like
Momoa.
Jason Momoa, yeah,
Remember him? He was
Yeah.
so nice.
yeah.
So that's wild. So after that, like, when did you get into television?
Oh, I don't know. I did mostly, as you can see, probably I did a
Movie,
whole
movie,
bunch
movie.
Of, a lot of features. And then it's just
Was it Stargate, your first ones? Or was there a TV before that, maybe?
I can't remember, to be honest.
That's a long time ago, too.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember doing Stargate because we had to Yitka.
Oh, yes,
Remember,
Yitka. I want to get her Yitka on here, too.
We did what is it, like the tour group, as well as I also worked on Supernatural with Daryl and David Costello. But anyways, on Stargate, I just remember like Yitka and this. I guess this was a producer or a PM. I can't remember, but there'd be people from all over the world, like Japan, England, whatever, and they would buy these tickets, hotel, spend so much money to come and visit the set
For a television show.
for a TV show. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then they say, oh, do you want to work on this is another thing about if you work your butt off, people would notice you and you get these fun little perks where they say, hey, do you want to work on Saturday? It's this very easy day. It's just basically you just help to guide these tour people, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, sure. I didn't know what it was. And then I just remember like Yitka and I would meet these guys pulling buses, and we're just like, hey, yeah, welcome to Stargate, and basically the producer would or the PM, I can't remember, would take them around through all the sets and everything, and just show them everything. And the the most memorable one for me, Mike, was this lady who was she had like a crutch or something, like
a walker
kind of thing, but not so intrusive. But I think it was like a cane or something. Anyways, like I just remember her walking into either like one of those like those Starship, whatever it is, or whatever it is. And then she's just like, oh my God, this is where blah, blah, blah. And then like she just knew what it was. And then she started to cry, but not like full on cry, but just like started tears of joy. And I was just like, oh wow. Like this is interesting. And I just wasn't sure what to do. And I just kind of go, do you want to sit on the chair? And she goes, oh, can I? And it's like, yeah. And then she said that, and I was just like, wow, like this is so magical just to witness this, that we're making, like for us, it's just like you said, it's just a job, right?
Well, it's the best job, I thought.
Yeah.
But it's a job.
It's a job. And then these people are just like, and it's like saying, wow, we are making their, not dreams, but their fantasy or their escape or whatever it is. And then the lady just told me, she said that she had an accident, and then she prior to this trip, and she said she already had planned it, and then she's like saying there was a chance that she was not able to come and do this tour.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then she's like,
so that's why she had the crutch or whatever.
She had the crutch and stuff, but then so she actually came out, and she was so blown away by the fact she was like, she just couldn't believe that she's there in that moment at the place that she, like a television she absolutely loves and adores.
It's a strange thing because working in film, you don't have that, I guess.
No.
It's not something I
I
love Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I loved some things in Game of Thrones, maybe the first season. There's a couple different shows that I really love. Sopranos, whatever, but I'm not traveling to go see where someone did whatever.
Yeah.
It's so odd to me, but some people love it, and I can't hold it against them. They're just different than me.
Yeah, and I get it. And then like, and I was just thinking, I was like, it's because people like them, these loyal fans, these loyal viewers, this is the reason why we have a job.
Yes.
And this is the reason why Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa. Like this is the reason why we're where we are. It's because of these people, and it's like, it's incredible. And I just love how passionate they are with something that we just basically punch out, like say, okay, let's go to work,
Right. Well, that's because of the hours and you're tired, and there's reasons for it. But if it was only a 5-hour day, you'd be like, whoa, like so happy and joking, and I'm sure moving in the office too has afforded you more hours and more of a relaxed thing. You're not on your feet constantly.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, Mike. Okay, so after being a PA for so long, I just one day, it was actually on Supernatural, where I just kind of go, I'm too old for it.
I remember you were going to quit film.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm done.
I'm so done. And then so I was in my limbo, didn't know what to do. And then I found, I was lucky enough to get into production office. So I was in a production, and I really liked it. It was fun, but at the same time,
like PA office?
Yeah, PA office. And I really liked it. Met some, again, is another new world, like totally different from set. And I loved it because it's like, it's a different side to the filmmaking. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And then, but then, yeah, production office is interesting, but it's super crazy. And I'm just like, okay. And then, but now I'm in accounting.
Yes.
And which is even more crazy because now I see even more depth about production. And I'm just like holy crap. I can now understand why PMs can see dollar signs and everything. Like say, Why does PA not do anything? Why do we need this truck? Why there's so many
Right.
trucks around here?
And their heads explode when the producer comes over, like, let's try this idea that we're probably not going to use and waste 30 grand trying.
Yeah, exactly.
And the PM's like, what? Okay, the producer told me. I guess I gotta do it. Oh my God. Like some of those things. But did you take courses for accounting, or you just started, you knew accountants and they said, come into our office and do it? Yes, that's
Yeah.
the better people get the better jobs.
Again, like there you go again. Like when people see you working again, like they see you doing, your best, and you're willing to learn and you're willing to work as a team, you just no drama and stuff like that, right? People will want to work with you. Like you said, like positive people want to be with positive people, right?
Right.
Like just, like there's no reason not to try to do your best at your job, right? And have fun.
Well, especially when it's a job that you like.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing is you went back to the film industry to do different things to see where you liked it and fit in, because in what they call it, the real world outside of film world is less pay, no food, and seniority. So it's not the best people get the best jobs. It's you have to work with this jerk off because they've been here a day longer than you,
right?
And you got to answer to this jerk off or quit. Pick one. Like, I'm not saying every business is like that, but I've run into that, and I don't want it. In film, it's not like that. You're good at your job or you're not, and you're either on it or you're not.
Yeah.
And if you're not, well, I'll find someone that is.
Exactly.
And it's cutthroat like that. It's straight up like, you're not doing your job. You don't come in next week. I already have someone lined up. What?
Yeah.
People, there's no real security.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with the union, I mean, if you sign up, there are some sort of security. You do go on the list and stuff. It's not like you're totally banned.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the more bridges you burn in this industry, the less work there'll be.
Absolutely. And as we all know, even though this community, Vancouver is a pretty big pool of film technicians, it's quite big because there's some people like will mention a name and we're like, I don't know this person, I never worked with. But at the same time, it's this very small community at the same time. So the minute your reputation is kind of, not very good. Like say this person is a lazy person or steal things or lie about things and stuff like that. It will spread. And it spreads so quick that it's just like literally the next day you get a phone call from your mother and say, look, I saw a Twitter blast.
No, I've had ALMs or people who hire say, do you know this guy? This Jason guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I met him once around a show, but he wasn't very good. And was like, okay, I'm going to last resort, I'll pick him. Like that's because he trusts my word or he trusts your word.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're part of the core group, like the keys or the hiring or whatever, the head of departments or whatever. That we rely so much on the word of mouth because it's like you said, it's long hours. You're working literally maybe Mondays to Fridays for sure, but sometimes 7 days a week, 12 to 15 hours per day.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like you don't want to be working with people with that many hours and that many days for 6 to 7 months dealing with that one constant thorn in your foot, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you said, like saying we'd rather be down one person than having that one thorn that keeps.
Yeah, where the producer's like, who hired this guy? Why does he keep making noise when we're rolling? Why does he keep,
Yeah.
And that's what I had in the book or whatever. I had stories that were really bad PAs. I tried to put in there.
Yeah.
And even when I was doing background, they didn't know I knew about PA. So I'd go in there as a background and watch the PAs. And literally like, I don't know, not just be judgmental, but I'd be like, who's the ALM? Oh, yeah. And then I find I'm like, this guy over here, you should watch this, whatever. Just be careful, right?
Yeah.
And because if you're in that world, it's kind of like both the worlds. And then I know people that got into set deck.
Yeah.
And then they also do props on the side and they do like 10 jobs just to get work and then eventually pick one that's really good and then go full on.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one beauty about this industry. It's literally, as what I've personally experienced, you literally can move to any department, or you can stay in one department if you like it so much. But like, like I said, I was bored of being a PA. Feel like I was being challenged. So honestly, within, I don't know, a few weeks later, I found another job in a total new department. And it's like, wow, okay. Like, what other, work out there that you can do that where you're just like, I don't want to be the janitor no more. And just like,
yeah. I want to be, no, in the same company. Yeah. I don't want to be a janitor. I want to be a teacher. Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. I want to be the whatever. Yeah, I want to be the principal or whatever. Yeah.
I want to be the coach of the basketball team.
And it's not like you can move right into those positions, but if you are a hard worker and you pay attention, there's a good chance that I had electrics on Supernatural say to me, because Mike Mayo, and all those guys, I don't know if it was Mike Mayo, but a bunch of guys that were in there said, hey, why don't you come do whatever? I think it was Byron, actually, probably back in the day. Mm-hmm. Why don't you come do electrics? I'm like, I've never been an electrician. I don't know anything about it. He's like, oh, no, you'll carry cable. I'm like, why? He goes, I'll show you how to set up and put together cable and take it down, and that's all you're going to do. You don't do any, because he was Best Boy, I believe, at the time. Mm-hmm, and I don't know if Best Boy does the hiring.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he asked me about it, because he wants also a hard worker, somebody he knows really well.
Yeah.
He knows he can leave behind and do the job, that kind of thing. So when you when other people see it in other departments, especially PA, a lot of guys will grab from that pool.
Oh yeah,
grips and stuff. They'll like, that PA is really good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go over and make him refuse. A thing you can't refuse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like that, like you said, like that's why you get the offers. Like that's why it's like you're easy to be trained. You're like you're the perfect grooming pet, as one would say, because you are just so willing to learn and you're just willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And it's like, that's why you get those offers. And, and people who complain say, oh, I don't get any job offers. It's like you said, look yourself in the mirror and think about what you do the whole day. Are you on the phone all day? Do you offer to help anybody? That's the biggest one. When you see greens or whatever, taking down these trees or whatever, do you offer them? Or are you just standing there texting on your phone, planning your weekend, what you want to do or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's
when the wrap time is.
Yeah, when the wrap time is, it's like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Greens is just busting a bum here. And I just, there's only one guy here and there's like 20 trees. It's like, dude, put down your stupid phone and help the dude.
Yeah, exactly. And that just pays off huge if you have that kind of attitude. And down the road, you can get way more jobs because of it. But I've seen those ones and been a part in or been stuck.
Yeah.
Me and I'm prepping. It's me and one guy or a woman who does not work.
Yeah.
And or the people that they more want to talk about problems so it looks like they're busy than actually fix the problem. And they come to you and you're just like, why not just, there's a pile of garbage. Why not just put it in the dumpster right there? Why are you coming telling me? Well, it's true.
It's so true.
And then people come out, oh, there's a pile of garbage. They just left a pile of garbage here. I can't even believe that. Okay. And then when they're done talking to you, they go to someone in grips. Can you believe the pile of garbage? They left a pile of garbage. Same story. Same thing. And then if they get approached by their boss, they can say, oh, well, I was talking about the pile of garbage.
Yeah. I was about to do it, but, I got really thirsty for talking about how much garbage over to craft service.
Yeah. And also being able to work with other departments is really important as well, because if you're friendly and work with other departments, I've told the story before, but when I started on Aero, they did not talk to transport. And they came to me and said, okay, because it was my second day at one of their studios. They said, okay, well, the garbage bin is 2 blocks that way down the road. And so every PA grabs as many garbage as they can, 3 or 4 a hand. There's 8 of us. We all take it down to the dumpster and we dump it in the dumpster. Yeah. And I said, why not ask transport to help you? Like, that's weird. And they're like, oh, we don't bother them. We don't talk to them. I'm like, give me a second. I walk right up to the co-captain who's sitting there, and and I introduce myself. We start talking, kind of have a rapport, and I said, listen, he's in a pickup. He's sitting there in a running pickup. I said, can I load that garbage in the back of your pickup, and then you back to the thing, and I'll just dump it all. And you don't really have to do anything. You just drive. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem, Mike. Get in.
No.
We go up, load it up, and then ever since then, totally like, you did it all yourself? Because all the PAs came out to do the garbage and it was all gone. They're like, what's going on? I come back, I took care of it. They're like, you took care of it? How? And it's because I don't think they're scared of the transport department or other departments. I think they're so in their head about their department and whatever and bothering other departments. I don't know. I think it's a big family. You got to work together and it's all the same goal.
Yeah. The
accountants are in PAs and transport and everybody working the same goal.
Yeah. Get that movie or that TV show done, and go home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was wild. So when you worked in the office, did you work in the actual production office?
Yeah, production office. Yeah.
Okay, and that was a couple of like big features or a TV show?
Yeah, I just did. I did 2 features. So it was a Planet of the Apes. Was it?
Okay. Yeah.
With Matt Reeves was the director, and then BFG with Steven Spielberg.
Yep, I remember that too.
Yeah. So those are the 2 production office. I just want to get the feel of it, and then I was like, okay, like this is great, and then learned a lot once again, and then someone approached me and said, hey, we want to do accounting. I'm like, okay.
So funny. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, sure, no problem. And then that was a little bit difficult because I had to somehow, get the right timing, and then there was a team I really want to work with, but then just the hiring, like the days, they need, like, anyways, it was just like, it took a while, but then I finally got with the team, and then I did as a payroll clerk for Skyscraper with The Rock.
Wow, I remember that movie.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, and then
did you meet The Rock?
I saw him in the distance, and I think. And there's one day I had to deliver checks, and like you said, when you're doing your job, you're just there to do your job. So I was there, and it was just like, get these people paid. I'm like, dude, just make these checks rain. Just give it to people, And then one point, I think I was going through Video Village, which is where the videos for the directors and everybody's at. And I'm just like, oh dear, like it's so squishy, right? And I'm just like, I just gotta get out of here. And then there was this person was right there, and I'm like, oh, darn. Now to be stuck behind a person, like you don't want to
go.
Yeah, you want to go, but you don't want to be rude because he was talking to somebody. So you just like, okay, I was gonna wait for a moment because once this person moves to one side, I can squeeze by him, and then that will work out. So I'll wait for this technician to move.
Plus, in Video Village, we're talking the top people.
Yeah.
That's the other reason you don't want to be rude. Because if it was just some PA, like, get out of the way. But if it's a producer, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And so these technicians were like moving like some of these carts or something. So I was like, okay, I'll wait for these carts to go because I was thinking to turn around. But then I realized these guys were like loading in, like putting in a dolly or something. So I literally was trapped in that area. And I was just like, okay. And then I was like, I looked, so I was like, okay, what to do? So I just kind of looked around, nodded at a few people I saw. I'm like, yeah, I got your paycheck, And then I looked to the person that was right in front of me, who was just like, I'm like, okay, waiting for this person to move. And I'm like, well, this dude's kind of big. And I'm like, he's kind of bald too. And I'm like, oh, is that him? I don't know. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, Janice. Focus. Let's get this paycheck going. And so when the technician finally, landed his whatever he needed to do, I kind of squeezed right in, and luckily I didn't bump into anything, right? And then I was starting to hand up paychecks, and that was later on. Was just like, oh, I think that was The Rock.
Right there.
Yeah.
He's inconveniencing you.
Yeah, exactly, right? He was in my way to do my job.
Well, I heard he's a total sweetheart. From just judging by podcasts and people that have met him, they say, he's a delight to be around.
Well, just adding to that lovely story about The Rock, there is one really great story I heard. So there was a super fan who was waiting for The Rock, I guess, to figure out where he was staying in Vancouver. And so he stood out there, and apparently he had like a sign that says, will you sign my my picture or something like that. And so The Rock, he noticed this guy. And then after that, so he got his driver. He saw the guy. He's like, oh, the kid is there. So then he rolls down the window. He sees the kid, and he goes, "Hey man, thanks." He goes, "But I had such a big long day today. Can we do this again tomorrow? Like maybe tomorrow I'll just sign your picture." And the kid goes, like, he was so over the moon, the fact that the rock had just stopped and talked to him. He was just like, "Yeah, dude, no problem, man. I'll do it. I'll totally come back, right?" And then the rock goes, "Okay." So he told the driver to continue driving. And then the driver actually took him around back again, like, because the rock was like, saying, "You should go back." And he goes back and he rolls down the window. He goes, "Dude, I was joking, man. Give me a picture." It was like,
that's
I was
awesome.
like, that is so cool. So it's like, it's so awesome to hear when celebrities like him, who become so huge so instantly overnight, but he still remembers it's because of those people. That's where he is. It's just like with our experience in Stargate. We are not able to we won't be employed if it wasn't for these people, right?
Right. Yeah. They're not making productions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And how many times have you done a show where they say the main actor is a celebrity and you don't know who they are?
Yeah. Right.
And you're like, oh, they're a celebrity? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. He was on Singing with the Stars or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like episode or season 2, episode 3. You're like,
yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it when big stars like that are really good.
Just even like on the kids on Harry Potter.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Just completely, no one have heard their names before, but now it's like, you know?
Even though I don't know. I've never watched this movie, so I don't know their names really that well. I might be able to name a couple, but I know what you mean. Then they get to a point where it was like, oh, I was on all the Harry Potter things. And even if they don't know, that in the resume is enough.
Yeah.
For them to go, oh, well then, perfect. You're a perfect number 3.
Yeah.
We need a guy your age, whatever, or a woman your age.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Like, yeah, just to see from people who are just like, cast number 46, who are now like cast number 1, on the call sheets. It's just, like you said, you never know. The PA that's sweeping your circus one day will be your PM. We always joke about it.
It's true.
And it's
how
true.
many LMs? When I worked at Parallel, all of a sudden I realized, because I worked there for a couple of years, people went from key to ALM to LM within a year and a half. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if you're ever to be an LM, you got to be on your game. You got to be good.
Yeah.
You can't just be some wishy-washy whatever.
Yeah. You got to have the experience. You got to have, like, you're dealing with so much politics, everything, right? Because the location manager is like people that say, oh, yeah, he just go finds it. No, he works very closely with the production designer. He works very closely with the production manager, with the producers. Like
Art department, all that.
Yeah, they are constantly asking him, hey, give us a place where we can film these A, B, and C, and D. And that's just on the film side. Now, the location manager also has to deal with the public, which is the real world, as we call it, with the cities, with the,
permits and all
that stuff. They say, okay, so we want to film in this remote area. Who do we talk to? If it's on native land, like, now you got to work with, the people. Like, it's so much, how do you say, location manager, you just can't just like say, oh yeah, he has it easy. It's like he has to deal with everything.
Oh, I know. When I did my independent stuff, I realized, and I had done some indie stuff where I was LM, and I had to get permits, and I had to get some stuff, and the curfews. If you're in a neighborhood and they're like, no, but that house is perfect.
Yeah.
They said we can't film past 10. Well, make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Is productions make it happen is the cry. Like, literally, I tried everything. You didn't try this one thing. Out of the 50 things, there's one thing you didn't try?
Yeah.
Well, then that might work. So you have to exhaust every single option before you can say no.
Yeah.
Because no is not really an answer.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to figure it out. Yeah. I feel like you should be a rock star and just start singing that night,
That was way back. Yeah, I wasn't even a rock star. I was a singer, but that was back in the 90s.
Your long hair.
Yeah, back when I was a metal guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so awesome. So so now you're just doing accounting. You have anything lined up coming up?
So we just I could talk about. I think I could talk about this because we just finished it. We're in post right now. It's Apple TV series with.
Oh, that's right. Richard talked about that.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was with our friend Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's in it. So Richard, he was our scout. He's so lovely.
Yeah.
I remember just one day, I don't know where he scouted, but he brought back flowers for all the girls. And so he gave me a flower. He gave the girls in payroll flowers. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's really nice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's the sweetheart.
Do you have a permit for this, Richard?
Oh, and he's so lovely. And he told me that show had a lot of scouts. It was
Yes.
like a lot of money per
Yes.
episode. They were throwing down mega bucks,
Yes.
millions of dollars
Yes.
per episode.
Yeah, so that TV show is literally like it's one of the few starts that Apple will start
Like the
pushing out.
flagship.
The flagship.
Real episode,
Yeah.
Episodic, because all these other places say, "Oh, we have all kinds of money," and that's why they said Netflix is going to dry up. This is what I hear anyway. This is a rumor that don't quote me, but all these other places like Disney and everyone that had
Yes.
to deal with Netflix now going, why don't I have my own streaming?
Yeah.
So think of that now. I
Yeah.
just got HBO and Crave, and Showtime is all in one. And then Netflix, and then Prime, and then it just
Yeah.
will keep going.
I know. It's crazy how all this streaming now is just becoming so popular. And if you look at our current productions, most of them are streaming.
Oh yeah,
like-
Netflix is here,
Mhm.
and now Apple, and
now
so
Apple.
Apple has no other ones. Like this is the first real, or they have other productions. going?
They have other production, but this is the one that I think is it was the one that was based in Vancouver. I think there's
Okay.
a few other ones. I don't know if they're gonna bring more. We hope to come back
Another season get picked up, yeah.
or something, or start another show or different one. But that'd be really cool. So that one's done. We're really excited. Like I'm actually really excited to see what it would turn out. It's just 8 episodes
Yeah.
in total, and it just seems a really cool idea. And just to see Jason again back on TV screen, see what
So
he's
did you
up to.
talk to him? Did he remember you from back in the day?
No, well,
Oh.
this time around, I was not in payroll. This time, I'm in accounts payable, which is basically dealing with invoices. Basically, the boring stuff.
And you don't talk to a lot of people.
I don't. Yeah, mostly this time I talked mostly to the vendors. So the people that we work with, like White's, PS, all budget, all those big companies out
Rental
there.
companies.
Rental
and-
companies that.
So you fill those invoices? Is that what the deal is? And then
I process those invoices.
and
So-
do you have to wait for the the LM to okay it?
Yeah.
And then it comes to you and
Yeah.
say, okay, it's been okayed by the LM, or you chase down the department head of the art department and say, hey, we're gonna sign this.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's all above there. Yeah, just get them say, hey, look, you spend X, Y, and Z, say at this film permit, whatever. Are you okay with it? Make sure, get the cost in, whatever it is. And, it's a lot to track throughout the
Oh, I
whole-
bet
Yeah,
a lot of this industry is money based though. That's
Yeah.
really what it comes down to. A lot of people think
yeah.
it's not like one thing that's kind of simple but is confusing for some people is don't make eye contact with the actors. On shows I've been requested that,
Yeah.
and right away everyone thinks,
Yeah.
well, they're snobby, they're not
Yeah.
going to talk to me, fine. Well,
Yeah.
no, my eye contact,
Yeah.
they're just a jerk then.
Yeah, totally.
And it was explained to me years ago, and I explained in the book how that isn't because they are snobby and they don't like you, and it's not personal. It is because I memorized these lines, and you running up to me and go, I remember you from Night at Museum 1, and blah, 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 it can throw me off. And what I just memorized, a 20-minute little monologue or something, and I have to keep it in my head. And if you eye contact me and make me throw me off, then you screw up the production, and then it just goes down the line. Then we got to retake it again. Then I get, and then more and more and more, and it goes
Right.
all the way down to the budget's not going to be met because of
Right.
that one interaction. And that's
Right.
a lot of people lose sight of that.
Yeah. And it's and another thing is that it's just also reading people too. Like there's some actors I know who are super friendly. Like on Watchmen, Malin Ackerman. I hope I said her name right. She is a sweetheart. Like, and you can tell that if you say hi to her, she say hi back. You guys have a conversation, totally fine. And I get it. And there's some actors who like you said, needs to prepare. And you should be able to get that sense too, because, it's like with anybody.
Or they're nervous. And then they got 50, 80 people looking at you going, okay, don't screw up, go.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
I can't remember. I drew a blank. Like,
exactly, yeah. And it's like, that's with any profession. Like when you see a camera operator, like, you would like say you want to get into camera and stuff like that, or like actually you should I should say first AC. When you see your first AC and you're like, oh, I really like to get into camera and stuff like that, and you see him like busy changing the lens or whatever that. Dude, no, you do not go up there and just say, hey, so so like, what do you want to do? How do I get into camera? Blah 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 blah. It's like, you got to pick your time. It's just like with actors, like you should able to make a sense to who what time's appropriate to approach to an actor or not. Like they're also humans too. So it's like, so it's like, you
don't ignore them.
Don't ignore them. Like don't just like you see them, you just like, oh my god, I gotta go the other way. It's like it's just blatantly just not making eye contact or whatever it is, and then there's like but anyways, like say going back to like say, but if you see like the first AC, he's like just at the camera cart, totally relaxed, having a coffee or whatever stuff. Sure, then this is a great time for you to approach him and say, hey, I've been, kind of want to get into camera, very interested or whatever. Make some sort of conversation, and that's the time. But not when he's pulling focus, because that's,
Exactly. If there's anybody that's up there, including actors, my advice is wait till they talk to you.
Yeah.
Because there is times where you'll be at crafty and you turn around and the first AC's there, or someone in a position you want to be in.
Yeah.
And that's the time, not while they're performing the job.
Yes, exactly. Like exactly
on
what you
set,
said.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Don't say, hey, can I take a selfie of you? It's like...
Yeah. Well, for me, it'd be all the crew members. They'd be like, oh, it's so funny. I love to sit down and talk with different people from the industry who, like, you have gone the game. Well, you've done production and then went into the office and then went into things. So you've done 3 different things in the industry, and you've also done some indie stuff, or no? Just a little bit when you started.
I've done a bunch of in this industry, like with the unions and stuff. I've done PA. I've set decked. I've AD'd. I have. I've done camera. So done video assist. Done
art departments on here, art director. I love all these.
This is so great.
Casting director.
Those are in indies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
but that is a separate world.
That is a total separate world. Yeah.
I know people that just do indie stuff. They don't ever work in the professional world, I guess you'd call it.
Right, I guess you can say that. Yeah.
And they don't make the money, but they get the experience. And then when they go into the professional industry, I've got 5 years being a gaffer. And what? Oh, okay. Yeah. And you can walk right into a good job. So that's another good advice for people that are instead of film school to go into indie world. You'll learn so much.
Oh gosh, yes, so much. And it's so great because like in indie world, it's literally like you and maybe 4 other people. So you have to be at the top of your game.
Yeah.
And you have to get your hands dirty and do whatever it takes. If you're like, say you're doing the cinematography, right? And there's some stuff you want to move, you can't just go, okay, can someone move the couch and stuff. Most of the time they'll jump in and get whoever else has another pair of hands and move the couch and then make it work, right?
Yeah. You wear a lot of hats and you do a lot of jobs when you're in the indie world, and you learn a lot, but it's also not detrimental for your reputation, which is great. Because if you screw up, say it takes you 5 times till you learn to not be late.
Yes.
If you're late over and over and over for Supernatural, Arrow, Flash, any of these big shows, yeah, you're fired and you're not coming back. I'm putting your name down and I'm saying, do not hire this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I when I worked on Supernatural, they called the list, the union list, a name of a PA. I'm not going to say his name. That the second AD and the first AD hated. There was a big thing, and they said, "Oh, so and so list," because that's where they got him. And then they wouldn't hire because it messed up and whatever. There was a whole drama around it.
Yeah.
But it really came down to this person was no good, so they totally hate the union list now because of this one guy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's remarkable how in the professional world your reputation, so the DGC actual union list is affected on this show because of the one guy. And so now the DGC's no good. They vouch for this guy. They're on your list and he's horrible.
Right.
I'm not going to hire from that. And that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Janice, you know, she's given me 4 people and they're all horrible. I'm never asking Janice again for someone.
It's so true. It's so true. Like, why would you?
Yeah, but
really?
But indie world, different story. If I hire my cousin to come PA and he doesn't know what he's doing and he kind of screws up, they'll like, okay, have him watch the Cars.
Yeah.
And they don't write anything down. It's not, I'm going to ever have anybody from Mike now. I'm not going to ban anybody who Mike suggests.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of thing. And it's a family unto its own. For sure, too.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who do that. And there's people who go back and forth. Yeah. But once you get in the professional industry, all the food and the money.
Oh, food. That's the thing.
And the golden handcuffs. They say the golden handcuffs.
What's that?
That's what Milton, you know Milton Ng?
Yes.
Yeah. So Milton was on here. I introduced him.
Yeah.
And he talked about the golden handcuffs. And he said, people get so into a job and they make so much money doing it that even if they hate it, it's the golden handcuffs. They can't leave the job. They have 2 kids now and a mortgage. I can't leave art department even though I hate it or I hate whatever it is, set deck, whatever.
Yeah.
Either make the move in the industry and go to another department and start over, or just hang on to where you are. So that's what he says. A lot of people don't give up those jobs because you make so much money. It's insane. Some of the people I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's super flexible if you want it to be. I mean, some positions not so much, but like, you know, when a job is finished, when a show is finished, your contract is finished, you can have a choice to either go back full time to another show, like hop to another show back to back, is what we say, or if you want to take time off, or you can put yourself as day calls and you just do it part time. So you have that huge flexibility too. I mean, like what other jobs? I don't know, maybe.
Well, you actually got me jobs. That's what networking comes down to. We finished Supernatural, and I was going to take time off because the next season, I think you're done in what, April?
April, something like that. Yeah.
And then you come back in July. That's usually, and you get a month and a half, 2 months of break. And I thought, okay, I will. And then you called me and said, oh, well, they're doing reshoots for RoboCop, and
oh my God.
And why don't you come and do prep with me?
Oh my God! Oh, you remember
And I met
that?
Fiona Cross.
Yeah.
I met
Karen. Was Karen there?
Karen. Maybe she was a regular PA.
Maybe, but Fiona was our leader. She's our
right.
And Gina, was it Gina Johnson?
Yeah.
Also? Yeah.
And who's the guy? It was anyway. There was a bunch of people that I just met. That's how I got into Arrow. They were like, oh, they saw my work and they're like, okay, come work for Arrow full time. You get a show call on Arrow. What? Yeah, Laurie works here. Laurie talked you up. She knows. I'm like, what?
Laurie.
Boom.
We're back to Laurie again.
Yeah.
See? Again, network.
And family.
Again,
and knowing
family.
people. And
yeah.
Like
even now, like you've been out of this industry for how long now?
My first one I think was 2005. Was it Watchmen? When was that?
But when's the
well, that says 2009. No, I did background, and I did. No, it would have been 2007-ish then.
But you haven't like when was the last time you were on set? Was it been 6 years? No?
The last time I was a van driver for Arrow.
And that was
second Third season. So that would have been 2015.
See, okay. So like, so
I'm guessing
so
2014 maybe.
So let's say it's been like say 4 years since the last time you've been on set. But look at this, like you're well, you're not you're not in this industry per se because you're not, PAing or extras or whatever.
Working for production.
Working for production. But because of the connections that you've made, you've brought people like myself, Michael Bishop, Richard, Byron. Like this list is so long with people who are so accomplished right now in their careers. Like you said, like Michael Bishop, he used to be just a key PA. He used to be a PA, but now he's what, third AD, maybe second AD?
No, he's seconds and first. He's seconds because he skipped second.
Yeah.
He's so dynamic.
Yeah.
That's what I call these people.
Yeah.
Dynamic, really fun-loving, awesome people you want to work with,
Yeah. And it's like holy cow, Mike. Like that's the power of connections that or the family that we have in this industry, is that even though you're not in this industry anymore, but the minute you make that phone call, we're like, hells yeah, we'll be here,
I so appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's just like, but that's the beauty. If you want to get a job, you want to do your indie stuff or anything, it's like that's the beauty of doing what we do, right?
Yes, and networking and getting to know people. It will definitely come, and
yeah,
I appreciate it, and I only really do it because I miss all you guys.
Aww.
I miss being a part of it. I miss when I started this job, I did because I got married.
Yeah.
And I was van driver on Arrow, and tell me how many hours I had to spend with them. Like literally 4 a.m. I'd come home on a Saturday morning, and I had to leave at 4 a.m. on Monday morning. So that was my only time off on the weekend.
Yeah.
And if we did a Saturday, usually with the van driver, you don't.
Yeah.
But if we did do a Saturday and I got called for a second unit or something, and I had to do that, then I had no time with her. And I realized I can't do this and maintain a relationship.
No, which is why it's like for all the people who does have a family, has newborns or kids or whatever, and is working in this industry, like seriously, hats off to the people who works in this industry, and also the family, the spouses who are behind, supporting the people who are working in this industry. Because every technician out there, they cannot do their job if their spouse did not support them to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're worried, they're gone. Like some of the guys are like saying, oh, hey, my show is now taking me to Barcelona for 2 weeks. I gotta go. And the wife or or husband, whoever, is stuck at home because kids gotta go to school. They got soccer practice or whatever. And now suddenly they're now the single parent, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's why it's like so incredible during those wrap parties, and when you see their spouses and they're all smiles and they're all happy and they're like, oh yeah, we finally did another show. It's like, well, like your partner wouldn't be doing what he's doing or she's doing, right, if you weren't there to support them too. Because it's like,
because those fat checks are rolling in too.
Yeah. And yes.
yeah
Definitely those checks are definitely a great payoff. But it's like, putting those kids to school and stuff, and which is why it goes back to why I also decided not to be on set, because the set life is so crazy, especially now I'm married, and my husband, he's in on the set, he's doing in the camera department, and knowing how erratic his hours are, for me to be in accounting is now, I would say it's probably the best choice in my life right now, because it's so stable. It's Monday to Fridays, 7 to 7. It's so consistent,
right?
And this is the only reason how I can see how this can work. Like, if
can you work this Saturday? Doesn't exist. They're not calling you on a Sunday morning going, why didn't you do this part of your job?
Exactly.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. There are times when we do have to come in, like say on weekends, but it's a very rare occasion.
If there's a special.
If it's a special thing where we just need to wrap things up or whatever reason, payroll on the other hand, they can work 6 to 7 days because, as we all know, payroll has to come out at a very specific time, at a very specific date. So
and we all know when they screw up your check, they say, "Oh, you don't get a check till next week."
Yeah.
How? What?
Yeah.
It's rent. Like,
yeah. I know. This is so crazy. Like, I don't know any other jobs out there where you get a check every single week. I mean, you know?
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. Right?
It was unreal.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean I get a check every week? You know, the most I've heard is every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Or every month.
Yeah.
But this is like
and also
one.
fed in the office too. They have caterers come in and set up a whole lunch spread because I worked in the office a couple of shows and I'm like, what? They're like, oh yeah, come down and have lunch. We have the what? Yeah, today's crab's legs and whatever. And there's like 8 salads and what? Did you eat lunch yet? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, don't forget your special little dessert plate that's handmade by the chef.
Yeah.
It's so, and you're right. It's just so crazy.
Any other places? What, pizza day?
Yeah.
Maybe once a month.
Yeah.
And maybe free coffee.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a maybe.
Yeah. Here you get like 10,000 different kind of exotic teas with with crazy industrial coffee makers, and it's like, my God, we're so spoiled,
I think extremely spoiled. This is what blew me away. I think of everything was the food.
Yeah,
it had to be the number one thing. Because I walked on, my first show call was Stargate, Atlantis, and when I walked on, the food was amazing, and the crafty blend, the crafty was amazing.
Oh my God!
You walk into a trailer and pick what you want: chips, candy, whatever you like.
Yeah. Oh hey, you ran out of this chip. Do you have any more chips in the back? Oh yeah. Bust out another box of chips. You get the first pick of Doritos or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then going show to show. And then when I was on amazing food again. Supernatural.
Yeah.
The Green Machine. I love those guys. They're so good at their job. And we've had some really good meals.
Yeah.
And then, what was it? And then, of course, going to Arrow. It was another big show. So as soon as you give the big shows, that's where you get the really good food.
Yeah.
And how many times have you done a kind of low budge show? And they're like, oh, you're like, pasta again?
Yeah.
Caesar salad and pasta was the standby with garlic bread.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, and you go to craft service and it's like a box of donuts and a big bowl of chips. And it's like
a bowl of chips.
I mean, like, I still to say, even then on the low budget shows, you still get fed. That's how insane it is, right? And then like on the bigger shows, you get like gluten-free, like pita bread or whatever it is.
Vegetarian meals.
Yeah, vegetarian meals.
Vegan stuff. Yeah.
I know. And you go up to my favorite time is the breakfast. When you go to the trucks. And then they're all so happy because they're already like up for 8 hours cooking a breakfast meal for this crew, right? And they're like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, oh yeah, can I get like a low fat burrito with, extra salsa sauce on it? You can make it, give me some extra bacon or wherever. I don't know. You can make anything
Feta
you want.
and cheddar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like, and they can make it. They literally create whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then like it blows my mind because it's like, holy cow, are you serious? And on top of your personalized breakfast, they will have, freshly baked muffins. Now, I'm not talking about baked muffins from like Safeway, whatever. They actually bake it in their truck.
In the morning. Yeah.
In the morning. And it's like, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. And they have a thing for juice. You ever see?
Yeah.
They have a thing where you can squeeze your own fresh juice. What? Smoothies. They have a couple, all the different fruit too you can think of. Unreal.
I know. And then like, there's always this one person who will like be with you behind your truck or something. You'd be like, oh, really? It's the same breakfast.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to for breakfast? What do you get? If you were to walk up today?
Oh my God. I my biggest one is always the fast track, which is the scrambled eggs, the hash browns, and
Bacon.
That's my go-to. And
Mine's always the wrap.
Oh, the burrito?
The burrito, the breakfast burrito.
The breakfast burrito.
It's all of that, but in a wrap.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's so good because it's so hot and it's just like, so good.
And then fruit salad.
Oh, you balance it with the fruit.
I have a bowl of fruit salad with me some cottage cheese in there, and that's my breakfast. That was my go-to for a long time.
Wow, a little bit of health. You try to balance with the healthiness there, right?
Well, you have to. You can't just eat bacon. When I first started, oh my God, you could eat 15 pieces of bacon. Like eat.
Yeah.
Just eat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I seen guys walking with 30 chicken wings on their plate. You're like, and that's it. There's no other greens. There's nothing. It's just wings. They got wings today.
They got wings and fries. Right?
Oh, I know. And they just constantly eat to the point that you're full.
Yeah.
Literally the whole crew. And then there's so much left over. It's unbelievable.
I know. So talk about food. So we get the breakfast, like amazing. Then you get the sandwich time. Amazing.
Depending on the crafty, because this is a crafty person who makes these.
Yeah, that's right. Craft service does stupid sandwiches, right? And then we go for lunch.
3 hours later.
3 hours later, another lunch. And after that, craft service comes up with the Jenny Craig tray, the chocolate tray.
Hots or the hots or right after.
Yeah, the chocolate tray.
The chocolate tray is right after lunch. Goes around the whole set.
Make sure you get all your sugary rush. And then, that's right, the craft service does the hot snack.
3 hours later.
3 hours later. And usually there goes something like so crazy, like either to get like a food truck or something to come in. Or I remember once was like the marble slab that came in and they gave us like, I think it was a treat. They can make us like ice cream and stuff like that. But yeah, it's insane. Like what industry that will feed you this much, you know?
Oh yeah, you have to be careful because you can gain lots of weight if you're not careful. Especially if you're a PA and you're standing around. And they're like, eat. I realize that after a while, I'm like, okay, I'll eat a big breakfast. I don't eat the hot sandwich unless I miss breakfast.
Yeah.
And because I have crafty too. That's the other thing. Crafty all day.
All day. And it's not like the big bowl of chip and like some donuts. No, this is seriously like craft service. It's literally like all day, make your own sandwiches.
Walk into a 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Basically it is. You can make your own sandwiches, have fresh coffee or tea. There's sometimes
soda, water.
Sodas. Yeah. Sometimes there's what else? There's nuts and stuff for that too, right? There's always something to eat there, right? And
cut up fruit, bags of chips. I've been in ones where it's like licorice and like all kinds of a sandwich station they call it, where you can make sandwiches in between these meals.
Yeah.
What? Who's making a sandwich?
Yeah.
Maybe someone who missed a meal.
Yeah.
But...
Or like a cup of noodles, like those cup of noodle ones.
Yeah.
Like
granola bars.
Yeah. It's like another meal right there, right? And then the most fantastic one, again, this is again towards wrap, is the wrap meal, the big meal, the big final meal where the caterers literally go all out, like to be roasting a full-on pig.
Yeah.
And then like we kid about getting lobsters, but we do get lobsters.
Oh, yeah.
And like crazy, like
filet mignon, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Wow. And literally 150 people on set. It's not like we make it for 20 people. We make it for 150 people, and then there's extra that's left over.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? It's so wild how that has become a big thing in the budget. Like I've never worked in the States. Have you ever worked in other places, other countries, or Toronto even?
Nope.
Yeah. So I only know here.
Yeah.
And that's my book is all based on the slang here and rules here.
Yeah.
And I know it's different in different parts of the world.
Yes.
And I don't know if the food is the same because I heard in Europe there's no craft service.
Oh.
This is what I heard though. You heard from people. I worked on the set and they didn't have craft service. What?
Oh.
And as far as catering goes, is there, some places just one food, who knows what it goes by.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate in Vancouver for sure.
Yeah. We're really got incredible people just working in this industry. It's like the technicians and everybody. It's like they're incredible. Like by far, I was like you walk into like a grip truck or a camera truck or any of those trucks, it's like or a props truck even. It's like they created these specific carts, so then they can make their lives a lot easier. Like they're so serious about what they do. Is that there's it's really cool to see how these people
you see
work.
the guy totally coated in laundry clips or not laundry when
Just
you do
pegs?
laundry laundry pegs or whatever, and it's coated because it makes his job easier. He just needs them all the time, and things like that, where they kind of customize what will make their job easier. That's basically what it was. And and then when I started doing on set and I started doing PA, I would have a belt. I started getting the belt like everyone, because you have all the stuff on there and you don't have to carry it anymore. It's just on your belt. So there's a couple, but being an accountant, you're in the office, like there's on set stuff like that. But when you're in the office, I mean, it's,
really, we just
you bring your own fan, maybe, or you bring.
We do.
That's
actually funny you say that, because we do, because it gets so hot in the office. So we have our little fans, and like in the office is I have to say, it's the biggest thing about in the office is funny to say this, because coming from the PA world, is that we sit a lot.
Right.
So it's funny because like I never noticed that, but then like your elbows will start to get sore and stuff. So it's like
my lower back would.
So that's another one. Your eyes, because you're staring at the screen for so long. So that's another physical challenge that we go through. And it's just interesting because I'm like thinking, oh, this is so sweet. I get to sit down now. And now I'm just like, God, it's so horrible.
That was great at first. Then like, oh.
Right.
And when I worked at Parallel and then got bought by White's or whatever, White's LES, I did a customer service rep. And I did that a while. And there was a few days. Yeah, same thing where I'd be on the phone and sitting the whole day.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'm like, oh. At first it seems sweet. I'm in the office. Oh, yeah, I don't have to worry about the elements. And and now you're like, oh, God, I can't do this forever.
Exactly. Definitely one great thing about working indoors is that I remember during, because our office for C was based out in Delta. And I remember those really bad rainy days. We looked outside. We're just like, yes, we're not outside. But then this year, I think the winter was really nice. And we got some really nice sunny days. We're just like, oh.
I wish I was exactly the opposite. Oh, wow. Well, I think we also get lucky in Vancouver for weather. That's a big one, because I've had times where I'm standing in the rain and horrible and watching the actors, their talents trailer. But that was the worst.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Toronto in the winter and stuff, I couldn't even imagine. New York and stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah, right?
That's got to be horrible to be a PA out in there, and you're never really allowed inside.
Yeah.
You're always doing your job outside forever. It's wild.
Yeah.
I got to wrap this up though, because we're coming up. It's only been a couple hours already.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I know.
What
I haven't seen
the hell
so
is
long.
I know. We got to do this more often.
Yes, definitely. Well, no, I will call on you again and come and do another interview in a year's time or whatever.
Yeah.
If you have something going on, you're going back on C.
So
if it gets picked up, or
we're not too sure. Okay. So I think like once it starts streaming, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it does well. Watch it, please. But I got a call to work in August for a show. I don't know what's it called.
Okay.
But definitely keep you posted for that. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So like there you go. It's like, isn't that crazy? You wrap one show and get a couple months off, and then now you're like, oh okay, I get to enjoy summertime. Like seriously, what other cool job you can do that?
I know, and how many people, like it's almost like it's so busy in Vancouver that you have to say no to work, which is insanity.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else, they're starving for work. They'll do anything just to get paycheck. Yeah. And you're like, no. Yeah. No, I worked enough.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I worked a whole year, which is really crazy for to see, because like we said, most shows we just work for about 6 to 7 months. This one I worked for almost 12 months. So it's just like,
so you needed a break.
So I needed a break. Like, it sounds so weird to say that, because it's like, wow, you work full year? Like, you know, like now you need a break, you know?
How many people have worked
I
for
know.
years? Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like some person like who's like, I don't know, works in like as a nurse or something. It's like, oh yeah, I work in a hospital for a full year and I need a break. It's like
Oh yeah, it's a different world, and I loved it. I loved the fact that you could go do it and then take your time off. You're your own boss, really.
pretty much, yeah. You're your own agent too, right?
You decide.
You decide. You can't say when you start. Well, here's the one thing. If I can give advice to anyone who's just starting in this industry, like literally
Please.
just trying to get in this industry, is that never say no. So when you get the first phone call, say yes. No matter what your plan is. Like I know, you know, like say you're planning to go see the movies with a buddy, but the guy says, hey, can you work tomorrow or can you work now? Cancel your plans. I know it sucks. It really does. I'm sure Mike has experienced it. I definitely have experienced it where literally my social life was non-existent for the first year. That's just the first year because you're just trying to get your foot in the door and that's all you're trying to do. So you just say yes. I know that sucks and it will be tough because you want to take those trips. You want to go out and do your family birthdays or whatever it is. Sadly enough, those will have to be on hold. But
It's marrying the work. It's actually,
really is.
if you are serious about it, it is everything to you.
Yeah.
And everything is pushed aside.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. It really is. It's only
I canceled a Metallica concert in Vancouver here on my birthday, even though I was doing prep because the polling had to go longer. And I had to do it, and I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
And I canceled to go to a Metallica concert on my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, of course, I'm like, oh, those guys made me work, whatever. Anything like that. But it was because I picked one, and I picked the film industry.
Yeah. And as tough as that was, really, like, it really does suck because it's like, gosh, like, that's my life, right? But like you said, it's like you gotta be committed to it. And once you show that commitment, then people will start to say, dude, this dude is serious. And look where you're at, Mike. Like, look where you're at. Like, honestly, like, look at the connections you've made. You made those sacrifices, but in the future, it paid off, right?
I think it did. That whole thing, Metallica thing, that paid off. Because they said, oh, you're willing to make that. They asked me, oh, we need someone there at 3:15 in the morning at this place to open up because they got to prep it and they're filming that day. And who should I ask and whatever. And he's asking me, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And they're like, what do you mean you'll do it? You're not going to even argue. You just want, and that right from there seals the deal, right? That is, oh, I don't have a problem with helping out, whatever. I'll be whatever. Because in my mind, the earlier the better.
Yeah.
I show up at 3 a.m. Well, I know I'm gone by noon.
Yeah.
or
yeah.
whatever.
Seriously. Yeah.
And they're going to cut you slack because they're like, okay, you did this for me kind of thing. And you took the bullet for me kind of thing. So, but anyway, I should wrap this up. We could keep talking about everything
so
forever.
Crazy.
So that's why I'm definitely calling on you. But thank you again for coming in here, and I appreciate it. And I really want you to know that it means a lot to me because of my career or my years as working as a PA and working in the office and getting productions. A lot of the things is because of what you told me when I first started, and it really means a lot to me because I even though you weren't aware of it, I was like thirsty for knowledge of what to do because I didn't want to look like the idiot, just like my book. I don't want to be the idiot. I don't want to be the one pointed out and embarrassed by everyone. Oh, who's this guy? Who hired this clown? You know? And you helped me out with that, and it meant so much to me because I would have had to learn it so much. It would have taken so much longer. And I took exactly what you did and did it for new PAs. I don't just hoard this information. I share with every new PA that's on set. Yeah. And I will put them in a situation like you put me in to do the job. Yeah. So they can rely on themselves. So they believe in themselves. Yes. And then eventually it becomes one of your things that you can do. It's a check mark on your resume. Oh yeah, you've keyed before. Okay. I know you can do it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Mike. That's so, my God. Just keep, Well, it's an important thing, and I think that sharing all of that wisdom and experience and being a part of the family, makes them feel more, when you tell them that, it makes them feel part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
You're not afraid. You're not hoarding the information. I'm ahead of this guy. You're like, okay, you're going to help me and I can help you and everything's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
thanks so
take
much.
care and I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was sweet. Janice is the best. Join me next Monday when I have a conversation with Marnie Orr. She works at Creative BC as a BC Film Commissioner and Director of Production Services and has worked on set for a number of years as well. So it makes for a fantastic interview. So until next week, have a good one and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.